If you want to do something that you've never done, you're going to have to push yourself harder and farther than you ever have. And in today's video, we're going to be discussing what to do when you want to quit and talk about the psychology of discipline, because this will help you in that pursuit of pushing yourself harder and farther. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now so we can go over the 3 concepts that we're going to discuss in this video so you can understand how you can build discipline to be able to push yourself farther and harder than you ever have. Without further ado, let's go ahead and just hop right into it. This is what to do when you want to quit through the lens of the psychology behind building discipline. So we're going to go over a few key concepts here. 1, the circumstances in which you live are all a result of the way you think. Whether you believe that or not, it's the truth. Next, the PI mechanism, which is the mechanism that I have created to be able to coach my clients that I was able to identify through coaching myself. And then we'll go through a couple points within that. Again, I'll discuss it when we get there. And then lastly, what to do when you want to quit, how to implement said mechanism that I just discussed in point 2. All right, let's go ahead and get to point number 1, the way you think. Everything you're experiencing is a result of how you think. Your thoughts drive your actions, which leads you to form habits. Habits are your brain's natural response or fail-safes when certain events occur. Now pause for a second there, okay? Your brain operates on autopilot. It makes micro decisions every single day that sometimes you're not aware of. That could be, and is most likely, the reason why you're stuck, because you're not looking at those things because you're unaware of them. So kind of like those moments when you are doing things on autopilot and you're like, wait, how did I even get here? Or how did this even happen? Or what did I even do today? Stuff like that. To begin any sort of change, we must start within our minds, or we must start with our minds. I encourage you to allow space for thought. Okay, like when we have those habits that are kind of predetermined and we just go about them because it's all that we know, we don't realize that that is the exact reason that we are where we are right now. Every single thing we do every day leads us to have the life that we live. Everyone has gotten where they are because of what they do or the little micro habits that they do, whether they're aware of it or not. That is why they have the life that they do, and they have the things that they have, and they're at the level in which they're at. Take a step back for a few days, especially if you're feeling stuck, to reflect on every action you take, small or large. You'll soon begin to identify where your shortcomings lie. Ask yourself why you do the things that you do. Some of us don't know why the fuck we do the things that we do, and that's the reason why we're not where we want to be. Number 1, we don't understand that the little habits that we're doing, that we're probably unaware of, is keeping us stuck, but also we don't even know why we do them. We just do them. The difference between you and anyone, pick literally anyone, and think about this right now. Someone that is where you want to be, pick them and compare yourself, or someone who's way below you, and look at the decisions that differ between the two of you guys. There is a difference. I just want to take a step back for a second, where I mentioned for you to take a step back for a few days, especially if you're feeling stuck. In this video, or in these 3 points, I'm going to be giving you things to begin doing once this video is over. So take note of those things so that after this video is done, you can actually implement them. So some examples of ways of thinking that keep people stuck are as follows, okay? And these are things that either my clients have directly experienced and come to me to fix, or things that I have just personally been through on my own fitness journey. Coming in hot at number 1, all or nothing thinking. I didn't wake up on time. I'll just eat fast food and be perfect tomorrow. I only have 30 minutes for a workout, so I'm not going to be able to fit in the whole workout, so I'm just not going to go. Next up, we have constant negotiating. This is something that I personally experienced, and this looks like you trying to think of a way to restructure your day, you thinking of a way to try to avoid doing what you know you need to do in the moment so that you can do it later or another time. For example, gym time comes, let's say your gym time's at 2 p.m. and 2 p.m. rolls around and you're like, you know what, I'm tired, or XYZ excuse, I'm just going to go later. And you in your head think that that's the better option because you reason with yourself and you let yourself off the hook by saying, oh, I didn't get enough sleep, or this is not the right time. That is your brain negotiating with you and then letting itself off the hook. Next, we have the victim perspective. Life is unfair. Woe is me. Oh my gosh, my poor situation. So-and-so is only ripped because they have XYZ, blah, blah, blah. Well, they're skinny because they do XYZ. It doesn't matter. If telling yourself that someone is where you want to be because they have some better circumstance or better opportunity doesn't change the fact that you don't have it and that you want it. And I'm going to argue to say that life being unfair is actually fair because we all experience our own hardships and our own things in life that make it hard for us to get where we want to be, and that's just the reality of it. Next up, we have enabling. You normalize quitting and you comfort yourself instead of being real with yourself. Let's take a few steps back and rewind to the opening line of this video. If you want to do something that you've never done, you're going to have to push yourself harder and farther than you ever have. You're going to have to do things that you've never done before if you want to get somewhere that you've never been. What makes you think that allowing yourself to quit and give up at the same point that you always quit and give up at is going to give you any better results than it did the first time that you tried, or the second time, or the third time, or the 8th time, or the 10th time? This one ties in a little bit with the negotiating one that I mentioned. Stop letting yourself off the hook. Self-love does not mean patting yourself on the back when you gave up. Self-love doesn't mean looking at yourself in the mirror and knowing that you're unhappy and being like, I love myself. That's not self-love. Self-love lies on the other side of discipline and self-respect. How are you going to respect yourself when you can't even get your damn self to show up? You're not going to have any self-respect, and that self-love is going to end up turning into self-sabotage. Next, we have a lack of patience. Stop chasing quick dopamine and learn to endure. Now, these are all examples of common problems that keep people from being able to build the mentality of someone who has the physical results that they're looking for, because achieving that physique requires a certain level of thinking and a way or lifestyle that your brain operates in. So there's a lifestyle that you live by, and then there's like a mental lifestyle per se that can give you those results. And if you're struggling to get results physically, it can be either the physical lifestyle that you're living or the way that you view the world, or your mental lifestyle that is keeping you from getting there. Oftentimes it is a mix of both. But if you look at these ways of thinking and see that you resonate with some of them, there's an indicator right there that these are things that you need to fix to be able to get where you want to be. I'm sure there are plenty more of little niche things that we can get into, and it's like a per client case for my clients, and I'm sure for yourself as well. These are the usual weak points in the mind here for majority of people. So your negative habits will lie within one or more of these categories above, like I just said. They are often masked or hidden because your brain is wired to resort to these categories as a way to keep you inside your comfort zone. Like I've said about a million gajillion thousand times, your brain doesn't give a fucking damn if you are successful. It just wants you to be safe, comfortable, and happy. It's going to be up to your grit, your perseverance, your will to be able to carry you past that comfort zone. But I'm gonna tell you one thing, on the other end of that comfort zone is everything you've ever wanted. If you only did the things that you avoided, you would have everything that you've ever wanted. You want to skip the gym, you know you shouldn't, but going would be uncomfortable, so your brain copes using these categories above. So your brain's like, oh, you don't have enough time today, oh, you didn't get enough sleep, oh, you're hungry, another time would be better. It ends up continuously getting pushed and pushed and pushed until you eventually just say, fuck it, I'm not gonna do it, or until eventually you just say, I'm just gonna start over, and you didn't do anything and you just kept pushing it off. The main goal of this section is to, number one, make you aware, and number two, give you hope that transforming your life and body starts with just a simple shift in your thought process. It's a simple shift, but it'll probably be hard for you to implement, as it is with my clients and as it was with myself. And also giving you hope that these factors I'm telling you in terms of the way that you think are all within your control and can be changed. Not a single part of this section, the first section, is out of your control, and it'll also help improve your ability to be able to handle the stressors that come from things out of your control and navigate past them anyways. Next, we're going to get into the best part, which is breaking down my method for doing this for my clients. So number two, PI mechanism, psychological framework, the chain reaction. So I've created the PI mechanism to clearly outline my coaching style. Now, if you're new to my channel, go ahead and listen up here, because this is the exact method that I use to get results for my clients. And if you apply this to yourself, you will also get results. So why do I call it the PI mechanism? PI is congruent between these two words, physiology and psychology. What is a mechanism? A system or process, either physical or abstract, that produces a specific result. So I focus on the physiological attributes and psychological attributes of every client that has ever came to me, because both of them are important to transforming. As a coach, from a coaching standpoint, just coaching their physiology is only going to get them so far, because when you give them their plans, their nutrition, their training, all their protocols, you can't just be like, okay, go follow it. You cannot do that. You have to be able to figure out why these people haven't been doing it before, because Google is free. The information is free. It's the implementation that you have to figure out with the psychological part. And if you're doing this for yourself, I encourage you to understand yourself both physiologically and also psychologically. Because if you understand the physiology, you'll be able to build your plan. If you do not understand the psychology, how are you going to get yourself to do the damn plan? And I had to learn that the hard way when I first started working with other people. I thought all people wanted from me was nutrition and training, but what they really wanted was a coach. I knew the training, I knew the nutrition, I knew the science behind the physiological side, but I had to learn how to become a good coach, and you don't learn this until you work with people who aren't yourself. And I'm telling you this because if you're doing this for yourself on your own, you have to be able to look at yourself from a bird's eye view and understand yourself and ask yourself, how am I going to get myself to do this? How am I going to lead myself where I want to be? And that all starts with the first section of this video where I discuss the way of thinking. You have to work on that to make sure that your brain has the capacity to be able to push yourself further than you ever been. So I build specific mechanisms tailored to a singular person's physiological and psychological attributes. Each person has different traits in both realms. That's why I said specifically. Now, what works for someone may not work for you. Again, that's why I'm trying to teach you this from a standpoint of you're going to be doing it on your own. So there will be variables. And if you're looking for something that is cookie cutter because you don't want to put in the effort of actually figuring yourself out, then this channel is not for you and I am not for you. Because if you don't care enough to take the information that I'm giving you here and be able to apply it to yourself, you were never going to get that good of results. I just want to say something really quick. If anything I say seems harsh, if I seem very matter of fact, if I seem maybe like an asshole, I'm saying it with love, because this is how younger me needed to be talked to actually get off her ass and get results. So if I do seem like I'm, being a little rough and harsh, maybe that's what you need. And if that's what I gotta do to get you to start, just trust that it all comes from love and care about you and wanting you to get where you wanna be. If you focus solely on training and nutrition, you are building a house made of straw. I've come to learn in coaching that meal plans and training regimens are the tip of the iceberg. Okay, you want to build a strong, solid foundation so that when life gets tough, when life gets stressful, when adversity comes your way, you don't throw the training and nutrition and the lifestyle out the window because shit's tough. Why am I telling you this? My main goal here is to help you build your mechanism, specifically on the psychological part. Now, I've made videos on the entire mechanism in totality, but right now we're just focusing on the psychological aspect of the mechanism. Previously, I mentioned figuring out your negative habits by asking questions about each decision that you make. Once you find your brain's go-to excuse or coping mechanism, you can begin to unwork those habits. Your negative habits continue because you're unaware of them, or you're just too damn lazy to change them and you don't actually want results that bad. Here's your formal reality check, that it's no other reason apart from you that you are not where you want to be. It's not your metabolism or that you're incapable of losing weight. It is you. Formal reality check here. I'm just going to give it to you straight. So the pie mechanism in totality has 4 steps. The first 2 are what focus on the psychological part. I'm going to go ahead and break those down for you now. Step 1, identifying weak points in the mind. Everyone has a wall. What is yours? What do you avoid? What is your kryptonite? What limits are you not willing to push? Every single person has different walls that they're refusing to push past, and behind those walls are the things that you're looking for, the results that you want. Because everything you're doing currently is clearly not giving you the results that you want. You have to reach a point of discomfort when it comes to transforming where you would rather do whatever it takes to get where you want to be than be stuck where you currently are. And if you're having trouble making that transformation, where you are now is just currently not uncomfortable enough, or you haven't realized how bad it is because you got your blinders on. A lot of us live in like this ignorance is bliss mindset where they just kind of like ignore their problems and don't really focus on them. So it's like, oh, you hate how your body looks, so you just stop looking in the mirror. And so you just don't deal with the problem. That's how a lot of people live. That's how I used to live, and it kept me stuck until there was a time where it was like, I forced myself to look and I was like, okay, like I need to get my shit together. Let's look at a couple of examples of what those weak points kind of look like. Do you struggle to do what you want to do because it's hard? Do you chase short-term dopamine? Are you unable to handle stress? Do you avoid discomfort at all costs? Do you give up easily? These questions may seem obvious, but you are probably doing them subtly. These are examples of weaknesses that cause us to hit the same walls. We will hit the same walls over and over again until we reflect and acknowledge the weak points. We think it's impossible to break through because our brain wants it to be impossible. Our brain wants us to say, oh, we can't do that. Our brain will reason with us and make us think that things are impossible because it doesn't want you to be uncomfortable. It's not that it's impossible, it's that it wants you to stay safe, to stay happy, to stay comfortable. It doesn't want to chase discomfort until you wire it to do so. You have to rework and rewire your neural pathways to be able to get to a new level of success. This is because rewiring these thought patterns requires work and discomfort, and our brain hates it. Once you find out what yours are, that will lead you to step 2. So figure out up here with these examples, like what is your kryptonite, right? Do you like, after a stressful day, do you go and binge because you couldn't handle your workload at work? Do you struggle to do what you know you want to do because it's hard? Do you know that you want to lose weight, but you can't stick to your nutrition for at least a week because you know that you're going to have to do it for a long period of time and it was difficult and you couldn't handle the difficulty? You couldn't handle not eating chips and whatever else that you're eating that you know is probably self-sabotaging you. You couldn't handle that? Do you chase short-term dopamine? Kind of ties in with the stressful day at work. You had a stressful day at work, so you needed a quick hit of dopamine, so you had a full bag of Cheetos. Something like that, right? Do you do those things? Because think about it like this. Does someone who have that body or have that level of success, or is that person do those things? Do they do that? Like, is that the standard that they hold themselves to? Do they give up easily? So once you kind of have that talk with yourself face to face and figure out really where your bottlenecks are, that will lead us now into step 2. Analyze patterns. Those weak points that we just discussed in step 1 lead you to have a certain chain of events or a pattern that you do when you experience said weak point, one or more of those. And those patterns are most likely going to be self-sabotaging and would keep you stuck, right? Those things align with your walls and they keep you from being able to break through them because you lean on those patterns, or those patterns help give you a crutch to navigate tough times. When in reality, the ultimate thing that we're trying to build is not only a strong body, but also a strong mind that doesn't need crutches to get through the hard shit in life. I'm gonna break down 2 examples of some patterns here, and then you can kind of be able to apply the lens that I'm using to look at this to your own situation. Example 1, let's say your wall is your threshold for discomfort. When you avoid pain, you tend to be extremely focused on convenience. You park in the closest parking spot, you opt for fast food, you skip workouts to save time. Your brain begins to use convenience as a cop-out for avoiding discomfort. Understanding and identifying this is imperative to your physical transformation. Next, let's look at example 2. Let's say you always give up at the 2-week mark and can't seem to stick to anything. When you stick to something for 2 weeks, you likely haven't seen many changes or made much progress. Your brain begins to say Your brain begins to have shiny object syndrome, convincing you that you need to try something else, a new diet, new training plan, a new method. You begin to get frustrated, so you start going off plan, consistency dwindles, and you're even more convinced that this plan sucks. Understanding and identifying this is imperative to your physical transformation. These are just two examples of negative thought patterns that occur when your brain convinces you or lets you off the hook. Now take some time to think about those two examples and apply it to your life, and I guarantee you'll be able to identify certain patterns that you do when you have situations like this. That'll help you navigate them better and ultimately just help you quit doing them. Now, lastly, let's discuss what to do when you want to quit. Now, this is going to be like the PI mechanism in action. So the PI mechanism is built to handle these things when they arise in your life. So whenever adversity comes your way, you are strong and you're able to figure out what the right thing to do is, instead of just giving up like you normally would previously. Since we've identified the walls you keep hitting and the patterns that follow, here's the missing piece. All of the walls cause a domino effect with your habits, leading to patterns that all result in one thing: you feeling frustration and you quitting. This mechanism is designed to train your brain to break through the walls rather than to comfort and coddle you when you retreat. In doing so, you begin to rewire your neural pathways to chase discomfort, to chase success, and not comfort and easy and quick. Now, I said that each mechanism is built per individual, so I'm going to coach you in making yours. So once you hit those walls, you're then able to see where your weak points are. And then once you analyze what you do after you hit those walls, that will tell you what the patterns are. So the walls that lead to the patterns end up in one way or another leading you to quit. Now, these 4 steps that I'm going to break down for you here is what you're going to do when you hit that wall instead of the previous patterns that you were doing that led you to quit. This is what you're going to implement. Now, it may be hard, but it is not complicated. It is easy, and you're just going to have to be intentional about doing it. So first up, when you hit that wall, I want you to pause. When you notice your thought processes that caused your negative patterns to pop up, analyze, assess, and adapt. So when you hit that wall and you feel yourself doing the things that you always do, doing that same pattern, doing that same self-sabotage, take a second. I don't care if it's a second, I don't care if it's 5 minutes, just give yourself at least a second of time before your impulsivity kicks in and you start doing the negative self-sabotaging habits. Take a second to think about, okay, what is this? What am I experiencing? What am I feeling? And what am I about to do next? What do I want to do? And then when you think about what you want to do, ask yourself, why do I want to do that? Is this a self-sabotaging pattern, or is this going to bring me closer to my goals? If you just ask yourself those questions, you're going to be able to figure out what the right decision is and what you're supposed to do. It's just not many people take the time to pause and think. They just act. They don't strategize or actually think about the things that they're doing. They just keep acting on autopilot based on those patterns that their brain has already predetermined because of the coping mechanisms that we just discussed. So number 1 is pause. Now, in order to do this for my clients, when I implement it for them, I implement some sort of grounding activity. So whether it be diaphragmatic breathing, going to take a walk. This leads me now into number 2, perspective. Remember how I said you're going to have to develop a bird's eye view and figure out how you're going to be able to lead yourself where you want to be? This is where that comes into play. Zoom out. Quitting is not neutral. Now, for my clients and myself, at this point, we take a clarity action. That's usually like a 2 to 5 minute or longer journaling session. That'll lead me now into number 3, execute. Stack 3 mini wins to gain momentum and rewire your brain to choose persistence over defeat. This is a simple 3-step routine. Doesn't need to be anything crazy. Doesn't need to be super long. It can be 5 to 10 minutes. This can be something like chugging a glass of water that'll help you towards your water goal. Go take a walk to help you get some steps in towards your step goal. Do some push-ups to get the blood flowing and to get some clarity in your mind. Lastly, write. Reinforce your true path by consistently reiterating your goal's specific prompts. Now, this is a little bit of a longer journaling exercise. So if you were going to do journaling for your clarity action, that would be like 2 minutes. If you were going to do this would be maybe like 5 to 10 minutes. It can either be after the day is over, like at night when you're in bed before you're about to go to sleep, or it can be in the morning if you wake up a little earlier and you want to do it then. That helps you have more clarity. Whichever one is better for you. I do it at night, but I have some clients that do the night. I have some clients that do the morning. Now, when it comes to this is important not only for organizing what you think about in your thoughts and what you actually want to achieve, but also making sure you're doing things in the day to move the needle. Because productivity and feeling busy doesn't actually mean you're getting closer to your goals. So you want to make sure that you're intentional with what you do, and doing this writing prompt at the end of the day or in the morning can help you increase your speed on this journey of transforming. All right, guys, that is everything that I have on the psychology of building discipline and what to do when you want to quit. If you want me to be your coach and build this mechanism for you, as well as coach you through it, I will leave the application to do so and book a call with me in the description of this video so that you can be leaner, stronger, but most importantly, mentally tough. If you have any questions at all, drop them in the comments down below or message me on Instagram and I'll get back to you with a voice message. My Instagram will be linked in the description. As always, guys, don't forget to do hard shit and be confident, but most importantly, don't forget how much I'm rooting for y'all. I love y'all so much, and I will see you guys in the next video.